Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and esteemed colleagues, on behalf of the European University of Cyprus, it is our pleasure to welcome you to the 12th International Biomedical Cyprus Congress. The official opening ceremony will begin shortly. To start, we invite Dr. Ioannis Patrikios, Deputy Dean of the School of Medicine at European University of Cyprus and Chairman of the Scientific Organization Committee, to the podium for his welcoming address.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming to celebrate this 12th anniversary of the IMBMC International Congress. It is a really honor to have you with us. Ambassador of Israel, Oren Anulik, dear Minister of Health, Mr. Michaelis Damianos, Dr. Kaisis Christodoulos, Commissioner of Audit, Poppy Ganari, former Minister of Health. On behalf of the Cyprus Army, we have the Major Natasha Stavrinou, Professor Loizos Simeou Embryonidis, and Deputy Directors, Director Andreas Eustathiou, Dean. I have a lot of lists here, so I'm trying to have an order. Okay. Dear Congress participants and guests, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 12th International Multi-Thematic Biomedical Scientific Cyprus Congress that is organized by the School of Medicine of the European University Cyprus with the Cyprus Medical Association as a co-organizer, that is taking place in Nicosia, Cyprus on the 7th, 8th, 9th of November 2024. The School of Medicine of the European University Cyprus and myself personally welcome all distinguished, invited, keynote and plenary speakers and the medical scientific community of Cyprus, as well as the delegates from all over the world that are attending this exceptionally high quality and high caliber multidisciplinary scientific symposium. As the founder and the general organizer of the Congress, I would like to thank the Ministry of Health and the Cyprus Medical Association for their support and recognition. It is worth saying that our Congress has been institutionalized by Cyprus Medical Association, and I would like very much to thank our professor, the clinical professor, Dr. Petros Agathangelu, the president of the Cyprus Medical Association, but also the rest of the committee members for their decision. Cyprus Medical Association has been a co-organizer for this Congress since 2018. Once more, I would like to thank all of my fellow colleagues and friends that accepted the invitation to participate, travel, attend, and share with us their innovative scientific work of excellence, as well as the executives of the European University Cyprus for their support and trust. I thank all our colleagues participating as chairmen, moderators of the session committees, or the highly specialized roundtables, workshops, and satellites. It is worth saying that for this year, and like never before, and for no any other event, our IMBMC Congress is endorsed and under the auspices of the Ministry of Health, Deputy Ministry of Tourism, Anesthesiology Society of Cyprus, and Cyprus Resuscitation Society, the Biological Society of Cyprus, Cyprus Cardiology Society, Cyprus Society of Atherosclerosis, Cyprus Medical Student Association, Cyprus Diabetic Association, Endocrinology Society, Perigenetic Society, the Cyprus Society of Genetic Medicine, Medical Society of Nicosia Quiriniya Hippocrates, Nicosia Cancer Society, Cyprus Pediatric Society, Karaiskakio Foundation, Cyprus Sport Organization, Cyprus Oncology Society, the Unique Smiles for Rare Diseases, the Cyprus Association of Cancer Patients and Friends, the charity organization Alpida, the Rotary, Europa Donor Cyprus for prostate cancers, and the American Hellenic Education Progressive Association, AHEVA. Thank you all by my heart. Furthermore, I thank the abstract posted participants from local higher institutions, as well as from institutions abroad, but also my colleagues here at the School of Medicine for their support. Biomedical Scientific Cyprus has now been established as an annual event with global recognition. We are here for 12 consecutive years. IMBMC is now a medium of continuing medical education for the professionals in medicine, nursing, and science in general, but also an international arena of dissemination of novelties, networking, and scientific excellence. Our Congress is a 3-day event with participation and submission of more than 250 abstracts, with 150 being selected and published in the ISBN International Library's numbered reference Congress abstract book, numbers that well exceed all expectations and any previous participation. Endorsing congresses by the level of original scientific work presented is not happening every day. Our Congress has been internationally recognized by one of the most trustable and reputable publishers in the world through meeting reports in the Nature Publisher Journal, Cell, Death and Disease for the last 7 years. This alone indicates the quality, seriousness, and scientific prestige of the conference that was first organized exactly with the opening of the medical school 12 years ago, and has become an ordinance ever since. Our Congress will not only remain one of the major scientific events in Cyprus, but it will continue serving as a primary forum for global academic exchange, in addition to reviewing the latest scientific developments and best clinical practices across the basic clinical and translational contents presented at the meeting. The Rich Social Program provides opportunities for networking with colleagues from around the world in an exciting environment. The EUC Multi-Thematic Congress in WWE provides the opportunity to interact with colleagues and stimulate the creative and productive exchange of ideas for a personally and professionally rewarding experience. Its overall mission is to promote the advancement of science in medicine, knowledge, and its humane and benevolent application globally, accounting the role of Cyprus as a gateway of knowledge and innovation. Finally, for once more, I would like also to thank the sponsors of the Congress, the Diamond sponsor and Ergolab equipment, the Platinum C. Georgiou Lab Supplies, the gold sponsors PMI Science of Philip Morris International and Pigalanis Company Lab, the bronze Total Care, the sponsors Moody Farman, and the supporters Pipa Paloizum, Deloitte, Ophthalmos Clinic, Georgiadis and Associates, Cyprus Biological Society, and Pervis Pharmaceuticals. Our thanks extend to the Cyprus Sports Organization for supporting, endorsing, and participating with a satellite session organized by the Cyprus Institute of Cardiology, research and study of cardiovascular diseases and other hereditary cardiovascular diseases, HICAM. But mostly, I thank all the students, volunteers that are trying with all their being for the smooth operation of this event. Thank you all. The conference is being held in November, one of the best times to visit the island and enjoy its natural beauty, as well as history. I thank each and every one of you for being here with us this evening. I feel confident that you will enjoy both the scientific program and the unique Mediterranean island of Cyprus. I wish you all the best and a productive Congress. Thank you very much.
Following Dr. Patricios, we would now like to invite Professor Elizabeth Johnson, Dean of University of Cyprus School of Medicine.
I was a little too short without the stool, so. Distinguished guests, dear friends, colleagues, and of course, our dear students. Welcome to European University Cyprus, welcome to the School of Medicine, and welcome to what is becoming an inspiring and transformative meeting. Today, we are celebrating something that is a bit more than an academic congress. We're celebrating a vision that's realized, a global community that's united, and the power of a shared purpose to drive the future of medicine forward. In just over a decade, the journey of our small medical school has taken us from that small cohort of students from Cyprus and Greece to a diverse international community that spans over 40 nations. Each of our students who are here with us today, with their unique perspectives, talents, have chosen to trust our mission, to learn here, and to work toward a future in which their expertise will make a difference, a profound difference, in the future. And we're here to support that future. Actually, today, I'm very proud to share that our graduates are spread across the globe, pursuing postgraduate education throughout Europe, including Greece, Germany, Norway, and more, but as well as in the US, Australia, UK, even Thailand. And although our school is quite young, with only 6 graduating classes to date, we're already seeing our alumni complete their residencies and taking up positions in well-known institutions like Yale and Harvard. So yes, the EUC name is making a mark worldwide. Our commitment to excellence is fueled with this ongoing expansion and opportunities for expansion beyond the borders of Cyprus. Today, our medical students have access to more than 60 externship placements around the world. Shriners Hospital, Oxford, Johns Hopkins, and what we heard nicely today, Patras University with Professor Cyprios. But not only, we also have the chance for our students to complete their clinical training abroad in countries like Greece, Germany, and now the United States. Our students also have the opportunity to serve underserved populations in places such as Tanzania, where they can address critical healthcare needs in very difficult areas. 3 years ago, we reached a remarkable milestone. We were the first school in the region to open a campus abroad, and not just anywhere. We opened a branch, a campus, if you will, in the heart of Europe, in Frankfurt, Germany. And I'm actually quite pleased that we have some of our faculty here from Frankfurt with us. Ladies and gentlemen, this achievement set new standards for medical education in our region and reinforces our position as a leader in global medical education. This also prepares us to extend our reach even further, if the time ever arises, particularly in areas such as Greece. Now, the multi-thematic Congress itself reflects our commitment to visionary growth and collaboration. What began as a modest event led by Professor Patricios a few years ago has now evolved into an internationally respected forum that welcomes over 60 distinguished experts including our opening ceremony keynote speaker, Professor Andronarakis, or our Nobel laureate, Thomas Sudov. It is a true honor to host such esteemed voices whose contributions continue to shape the world of medicine. These next 3 days will be filled with dialogue, discovery, shared inspiration. Together, we stand on the forefront of a global healthcare community, working towards a healthier and more hopeful future for all. So I hope that as you look back one day on this Congress, you'll remember not just the science, but also the sense of connection, a sense of belonging, a shared purpose that defines European University Cyprus, or if you will, the family of European University. On behalf of European University Cyprus and our School of Medicine, it is both an honor and a true privilege to welcome each and every one of you to our Congress and to our ever-growing global family. Thank you.
Next, we welcome Professor Andreas Efstathiou, Rector of European University Cyprus.
Is it too? I can probably do without this. Good evening, everyone. Honorable Minister of Health, Your Excellency, Ambassador of Israel, dear former Minister of Health and member of the University Council, dear President of the Cyprus Medical Association and also member of the University Council, distinguished guests and participants, dear colleagues, dear students, I'm deeply honored to welcome you to European University Cyprus for the opening ceremony of the 12th International Multi-Thematic Scientific Biomedical Congress organized by our esteemed School of Medicine. The annual International Multi-Thematic Congress is one of the most prestigious scientific gatherings in Cyprus. It has significantly advanced research and innovation in its various fields of study on the island. The Congress has earned a distinguished reputation for drawing eminent scholars, academics, and researchers in biomedical sciences and medicine from around the globe to Cyprus. This year's event continues that proud tradition. On this important day for our university, please allow me to say a few words about its history, our achievements, and our vision. European University Cyprus traces its origins to Cyprus College, established over 60 years ago, in 1961, just a year after the Republic of Cyprus itself was founded. This makes our university one of the most historic academic institutions on the island. Our university's mission is to deliver top-tier education to students from around the globe, engage in groundbreaking and responsible research and innovation, and serve the local community here in Cyprus. A growing number of our professors collaborate with scientists from some of the world's top universities. They also lead or participate in numerous prestigious projects funded by the European Commission, the Research and Innovation Foundation here in Cyprus, and numerous other funding agencies. Indicatively, over the past 5 years, our research activity has quadrupled, enabling the university to join esteemed rankings such as the Times Higher Education World University Rankings. This year, we have several more reasons to feel proud and optimistic about the future. We are launching our School of Veterinary Medicine, which will be housed in a newly completed building on our campus. Additionally, we will celebrate the first graduates from the International Digital Economy College and joint initiative with Minjiang University in China. We are also excited to embark on a new journey with our European partners in the European Universities Alliance Sunrise. The establishment of the School of Medicine, as we heard from the Dean about a decade ago, Alongside our School of Dentistry and the School of Sciences, which offers numerous programs in health and life sciences, has significantly boosted our university's research activities, leading to new achievements. The annual International Multithematic Scientific Congress provides our faculty with the opportunity to help position Cyprus as a leading center for medical education and research in the region. As we also heard from the Dean, we are also very proud of the fact that our university 3 years ago began the offer of its program in medicine at the branch of our School of Medicine in Frankfurt, Germany. I would like to conclude with my warm thanks and congratulations to all those who worked for the organization of this year's Congress, and especially Professor Ioannis Patrikios, Deputy Dean of our School of Medicine and founder of the Congress. I would also like to acknowledge all sponsors and supporters for their contribution. Best wishes to all for a successful Congress. Thank you very much.
We are pleased to invite Clinical Professor Petros Agathengelou, President of the Cyprus Medical Association and Vice Chairman of the Congress Scientific Committee, to the stage.
Good evening, Honorable Minister of Health, Your Excellency Ambassador of Israel, dear Dean of the Medical School, Professor Elizabeth Johnson, dear Professor Andreas Evstathiou, Rector of the University, my dear friend, Professor Patrikios, Deputy Dean of the School of Medicine, Honorable distinct dignitaries, previous Minister of Health, Mrs. Kanari, Commissioner, it is a profound honor and privilege to welcome you at the opening of the 12th International Multithematic Biomedical Congress hosted by the European University Cyprus School of Medicine in collaboration with the Cyprus Medical Association. I would like to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to the European University Cyprus for its dedication to promoting excellence in medical education. The School of Medicine has consistently exemplified a commitment to advancing scientific discovery and nurturing the next generation of healthcare professionals. These efforts are invaluable to health and well-being of our society, and we are proud to stand up alongside them in this endeavor. Over the years, this Congress has grown into much more than an annual event that has been inspired by Professor Patrikios 12 years ago. Thanks for your inspiration. We owe it to you. It's just a meeting of all the scientific society and spirits together. It has become a distinguished tradition, a gathering that brings together pioneering research, interdisciplinary collaboration, and innovative solutions to the global health challenges we face. It is an honor for the Cyprus Medical Association to co-organize this exclusive scientific Congress, which continues to elevate the standing of Cyprus as a center for biomedical research and education. This year's Congress covers an exceptionally broad range of topics reflecting a dynamic and evolving nature of medical science, technology, and innovation, from infectious diseases and epidemiology to groundbreaking advancement in genetics, oncology, novel surgical approaches, cardiology, and the latest developments in diabetes care. This Congress will highlight the need for continuous learning and adaptation within our profession. We are especially privileged to welcome our distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Stylianos Antonarakis and Professor Thomas Sadov. Both are internationally acclaimed for their groundbreaking contributions to medicine, and we are honored to have them share their knowledge and insights with us. Professor Antonarakis, whose work in genetic medicine has greatly expanded our understanding of the human genome, and Professor Sarov, a Nobel laureate, acknowledged for his pioneering research in neuroscience, exemplify the highest standards of this scientific excellence. At the Cyprus Medical Association, we are deeply committed to supporting initiatives such as this Congress, and we ourselves, not merely as co-organizers, but as dedicated partners in fostering an environment where medical professionals, researchers, and students can come together to exchange knowledge, innovate, and ultimately improve healthcare practices. Our involvement in this Congress reflects our commitment to staying at the front of medical progress, ensuring that Cyprus continues to play a vital role in the international medical community. The 12th International Multi-Thematic Biomedical Congress once again provides a vital platform for experts, researchers, scientists, physicians, professors, and arts, and representatives from the pharmaceutical industry. It offers an invaluable opportunity for us all to extend our scientific understanding, share experiences, and comfort to challenges and that lie ahead in our fields and our clinical day-to-day practice. Sustaining and empowering the scientific exchange of knowledge is imperative, and this Congress serves as an excellent networking platform for experts to showcase their latest research and advancements. In conclusion, I wish to extend my deepest thanks to the European University Cyprus for its exemplary leadership in organizing this landmark event. It is a privilege once again for the Cyprus Medical Association to be part of such a distinguished collaboration, and we look forward to many more productive partnerships in the future. I would also like to thank all our supporters, participants, speakers, students who have made this Congress possible. Thank you all for your presence and for your unwavering dedication to the advancement of medical science. Together, let's continue to work towards a future for a better health for all. Thank you.
Finally, we invite the Minister of Health, Mr. Michael Damianos, to deliver his welcome address.
Dear participants, dear friends, it is a great pleasure for me to address you today on the occasion of the opening ceremony of the 12th International Multi-Thematic Biomedical Congress. This prestigious Congress has been organized by the Medical School of the European University of Cyprus in collaboration with the Cyprus Medical Association and under the auspices of the Ministry of Health. The high-caliber Congress has established itself as an international event celebrating the present and future of science, research, and innovation. The ambitious and comprehensive program includes presentations, workshops, and discussions covering a wide range of topics in health sciences, including exercise, cardiology, chronic disease, neuroscience, biology, clinical genetics, environmental health, robotic surgery, and many more. Distinguished scientists and world-renowned experts in their respective fields will share with us their latest research, guiding us towards more effective future healthcare policies based on solid scientific evidence. This conference provides a platform for exchanging best practices, developing innovative ideas, and fostering networking and collaboration amongst the scientific community, both locally and internationally. Whatever your area of expertise and interest may be, I am confident that you will leave the Congress equipped with new knowledge and skills, having enjoyed the valuable exchange with friends and colleagues. The European University of Cyprus boasts state-of-the-art facilities and a student-friendly campus. This impressive cultural auditorium center offers the perfect environment for collective inspiration, meaningful learning, and turning dreams into reality. At the end of the day, we all share the same vision: to create a better future with the highest quality of care for our citizens based on reliable and up-to-date scientific information. I would like to extend a warm welcome to our students, both from Cyprus and abroad. You are our beacon of hope for the future of health and well-being. We take great pride in the fact that you have chosen to study at this prestigious European university in Cyprus. This Congress provides you with unique opportunities to learn about the latest research and network with experts and professors, helping you shape the future of cutting-edge medical science and technology. Inspired by the values of your university, such as inclusion, equality, and diversity, you have the power to make the world a better place by practicing medicine with compassion, dignity, empathy, and respect for humanity. I would like to assure you that you all of the ongoing support of the Ministry of Health for events such as this, where esteemed experts gather to engage in rich dialogue and promote continuing medical education. The Ministry of Health is at the forefront of prioritizing actions to tackle the challenges we face in public health. We know that infectious diseases do not recognize borders, which is why we must work together through political dialogue and commitment to address our common threats. The lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic highlight the importance of solidarity, cutting-edge science, and collaboration between politics, academia, and civil society in order to deal with future health threats more effectively. Non-communicable diseases and unhealthy behaviors such as smoking, physical inactivity, and the consumption of processed foods continue to be a burden and a challenge to the sustainability of our healthcare system. I am proud to say that the Ministry of Health has played a pivotal role in the implementation of the robust general healthcare system in 2019, with strong and accessible primary healthcare infrastructure and universal healthcare coverage for the population of Cyprus. With a resilient healthcare system and a coordinated multi-sectoral approach, we are better equipped to tackle and manage these threats to the health of our population. Last but not least, I would like to extend my special thanks and appreciation to Professor Ioannis Patrikios, Associate Dean of the European University Cyprus Medical School, for his unwavering commitment to education and research and his tireless efforts to promote scientific excellence by organizing this unique congress at the European University of Cyprus every year. I also acknowledge the incredible contribution of Professor Elizabeth Johnson, Dean of the Medical School, and her entire team for providing strong governance and leadership in the education of our future doctors. A heartfelt thank you to the Cyprus Medical Association for its continued and unwavering support for education, to all sponsors of this event, and to the senior administration of this university. This Congress is taking place today thanks to all of your concerted efforts. Dear guests, I wish you all the best for successful and fruitful Congress. Over the next few days, I hope that you will have the chance to enjoy breathtaking scenery, Cypriot hospitality, and traditional cuisine on a beautiful, small, yet divided island. Let us all unite in a wish for peace, health and stability, and prosperity in our region and throughout the world. Thank you.
Now I call to the podium Professor Patrikios to introduce an esteemed speaker. Please.
Okay, and I have the honor, firstly, to say that you are going to be here with us launching the first TEDx lecture in Cyprus, actually, and by one of the world-known scientists in the field of medicine, Professor Stylianos Antonarakis, one of a kind in giving lectures. We are keen to listen to it. Stelio, my friend. Few words for the professor. Stylianos Antonarakis is currently Emeritus Professor, an active one, at the University of Geneva. He was previously professor and founding chairman of genetic medicine at the University of Geneva Medical School and the founding director of Institute of Genetics and Genomics of Geneva. He's a medical molecular human geneticist, a physician scientist who studied extensively the relationship between genomic and phenotypic variations. He is an international expert of disorders of chromosome 21, identifying genes for genetic disorders, development of diagnostic tests, genome structures and function, studies of the genome variability, and conserved non-coding sequences in human DNA. His current interest and research projects are the functional analysis of the genome, the effect of human genetic variation to phenotypic variation, the discovery of genes and variations from Mendelian disorders, the molecular pathogenesis of trisomy 21, and polygenic phenotypes, the functional characterization of conserved fraction of the genome, the genomics of single-cell diagnostics and prevention of genetic disorders, and the societal implications of genetics and genome research. His TEDx lecture will be Human Genomes in Health and Disease. Στέλιο, the podium is yours.
Ναι, πρέπει να το κρατάτε μαζί σας. Αν θέλετε να δείξετε κάτι, να δείχνετε πάνω στο κομπιούτερ, όχι πάνω στην οθόνη. Εντάξει, αυτό που κρατάτε το θέλετε.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to address each one of you by his first name and title, but I do not know all of you, and therefore I will start with an introduction saying, dear members of the Homo sapiens, welcome to this fantastic environment, and I'd like to thank very much everybody that gave me the honor of inviting me, but particularly Professor Dr. Ioannis Patrikios and the Scientific Program Committee for the kind invitation. I also want to thank the members of our laboratory and the funding agencies that supported our research over the years. The Swiss National Science Foundation, the European Union, a specific institution within the European Union called the ERC, the American NIH, and 5 private foundations, Ludwig, Gebert, Lejeune, Provisu, and Childcare, for the support over the years. When I go to dinners, like all of you, people ask me, what do you do in life? And I usually say, I'm a geneticist. And they say, what is this? And I say, this is a matchmaker. A matchmaker that matches functional genomic elements in the genome, genes and other things that we have in the genome, and phenotypes, disorders. You can see them as squares on your left and circles on your right. And what a geneticist usually does is links these two objects, the genes in the genome and the disorders. And the arrows that link those are the mutations, the variants that we all have in our genome. And I will talk to you a little bit more about this. This game, the matchmaking game, is, as my daughter told me a long time ago, that's very simple. Well, it is very simple when one gene relates to one disorder. But most of the times, this is very complicated because one gene relates to many disorders sometimes, and several disorders the same disorder relates to many genes very often too. Now, what is the genome? The genome is all the DNA that all of us have in each one of the trillion cells in our body. And the 1st of October of 1990, a long time ago, there was a project that started that we used to call the Human Genome Project. It started that day because at that day, the American NIH put $120 million for that project. And the goals of this was to map the genome, to clone the genome, and to sequence, to read the genome of humans. That took 12 years to do all this international project. And in the middle of 2002, there was a big feast at the White House. And I remember at the time was President Bill Clinton that you see in your screens. And the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom on a big screen like this. It was the first time that I saw a teleconference of Tony Blair on the screen. And at that year, we celebrated the reading of the human genome. Of course, everybody knew that we haven't finished with the genome yet. But nevertheless, that year, that day was a big achievement because since then, we live in the post-genome era of medicine. So the genome is a tremendously big molecule. Let's compare it to a text in a book written by 4 letters, A, G, C, and T. 4 chemical substances, one after the other, and they make the genome. And the genome is, do you want the number? 6 billion letters in each one of the trillion cells on our body. It's enormous. However, it is finite. So in other words, there's a beginning and an end. And if something is finite, that's very scientific. We can measure it, we can read it. Not us with our eyes and brains, but the computers can do this. And therefore, this is something that we can study and learn from it. So here you see a small part of my genome. It's 10,000 letters. The genome that of you and I, as we said, is 6 billion letters, is about 300,000 times bigger than this. So this is that molecule that changes medicine every year. Of course, as I said, at that day, the 2002, that was not the end of the sequencing of the genome because we did not know the most difficult regions. That was about 8% of it. And it took us another 20 years to finally sequence the entire genome. 1st of April of 2022, using new technologies and advances in computing, we have the final reading of our genome as humans. And for the aficionados, for those of you who know a little bit more about chromosomes and cells and genomes, those difficult regions were the short arm of human acrocentric chromosomes, 13, 14, 15, 21, and 22. A big region of chromosome 1, big region of chromosome 9, chromosome 16, plus the human Y chromosome that was almost unreadable in the beginning. So now we're done with this. And that added several genes and several functional genomic elements that we will study in the next 30, 40, 50 years. Now, 6 billion letters is a big molecule. And some people ask me, can we have an example of how big is that genome? Because when we say millions or billions, etc., sometimes it's beyond our grasp. So the genome in our cells, it is divided into chromosomes. The chromosomes are, think of the chromosomes as the buses that transport the genome from one generation to another or from one cell to another. And the smaller bus, a mini bus, is the smaller chromosome. That's called chromosome 21, has a number. Chromosome 21 is my beloved chromosome. My laboratory studies this for a long time. And it's about 1.5% of the genome, 1.5%. So I convinced the Swiss Institute of Bioinformatics to print me the genome, the DNA of chromosome 21, which is 1.6% of the genome. And they produced that book that has 14, 17 pages and then about 30,000 letters per page. The letters, the A, G, C, and T that you will see, there are size of 7 when you type your texts, usually type 11 or 12. That's one copy of this book, and I have it with me, and I pass it to you to take a look. So here it is. It is about 4 kilograms. It had cost me a lot of money with the luggages over the planes, but it's worth it. So here is part of it. You can see all the text. So I give it to you. Each one of your cells, of our cells, of the trillion cells that we have, has a text that is 66 volumes of this. 66. I start with you. Thank you. So that's an enormous molecule, and then I come back to the work or the job of a geneticist, the matchmaker, and I don't know how many of you have seen that movie, The Fiddler on the Roof, 1951, from Norman Jewison, who died like about a year ago. Can we play the movie, please?
Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch. Matchmaker, matchmaker, look through your book.
Look through your book.
And make me a perfect match.
So the book is the book of DNA that you have over there. And the object that we match is what is important in our DNA and how that translates to phenotypes and disorders. So here is a couple. And you see on blue the DNA molecule of one partner, the blue partner, and the DNA molecule of the pink partner. And every time we make the genetic experiment to have a child, we shake the DNAs of the two and we take half from the father and half of the mother, we mix them up, and we have a new individual. However, in order to do this, we need to copy the DNA. We need to copy the DNA in the cells in order to give it to the next generation, or in order to pass it from one cell to another. And the copying of the DNA is extremely accurate. It is extremely accurate. If it was not, if it was not accurate enough, we wouldn't have children that look like humans. But when you see a pregnant woman in the streets, you're thinking that this woman will have a child, not a cat or a cow or a Drosophila or a fish, but a human in her womb. Why is that? Because she and her partner gave that new individual half of the DNA that is human. The copying is quite accurate. I'm talking to you now for about 5-6 minutes, and millions of my cells in my gut and the blood have been renewed. So that copying mechanism worked on me continuously. And a cell takes about 20 minutes. Think of this, 20 minutes to read and copying correctly 6 billion nucleotides. The copying is very accurate. However, there are mistakes that are made. The mistakes are very few. In our language, we say 10 to the minus 8 per nucleotide per generation. For you is one letter change, mistake, in 100 million letters. So that's the error rate. So when I was born, I had the DNA of the zygote. No, when I was conceived, I had the DNA of the zygote, and then every time there was new cell made on me, then I added mistakes. And you see the mistakes in the scheme there. Every time you copy the DNA, you add few of the circles that are red, so you accumulate variants. In me, when I accumulate variants, I age, and my cells differentiate a little bit. In humanity, that means that every child has new mutations, new variants. And then we have the evolution of humans as we go through our history. And that has as a result that the DNA of you and I is not the same. We're all part of the Homo sapiens sapiens. So we have the human DNA. However, we are very different because our DNA is a bit different. So here, you see with the little flags, the letters that are different in my DNA from the genome of reference, that we call it. 1 in 1,000 letters varies between 2 randomly chosen genomes in the population. And that contributes to the differences that we all have. There are not 2 people on Earth, among the 8 billion people that we are on Earth, that have identical genomes, except monozygotic twins when they are conceived. Even the monozygotic twins change during their life because they accumulate somatic variants. So we all humans, because we share our genome, but we have a difference. 0.59% is the average difference between me and anybody else on Earth, or you and anybody else on Earth. This is an important difference, though. It is an important difference because that makes us all different, with different abilities and different facial and somatic characteristics, different orientations, different likings, voting difference, etc., behavioral difference. And that is fantastic. That's a gift of nature. It is a gift of nature that we're not cloned or clones of each other. We are very different, and that is a great gift of nature. It is a great gift because this genomic variability provides the possibility to evolve and to adapt. Because the environment changes, and we need to change in order to adapt. And biological species change, and we also need, as humans, to evolve in order to survive in the ever-changing environment. However, gifts, they don't usually come as gifts. There's no free lunch, as we say. And as humans, as every other species on Earth, we pay a price for this possibility to evolve and adapt. And the price that we pay is that sometimes this variability is bad. It's not good for us. It's bad. It's pathogenic. And it's pathogenic, and it gives us the myriads of human disorders that we call genetic disorders. So the genomic disorders is the price to pay for the potential of evolution or adaptation. This big and obvious secret in medicine is that the genomic variability, along the environmental variability that we talk a bit later, is at the root of every human trait and phenotype and disorder. And as this very big and famous population geneticist, Theodosius Dobzhansky, wrote in a book in 1973, nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution. And us, the medics, we can paraphrase this and say nothing in medicine makes sense except in the light of evolution. So here are my variants, or anybody's variants, and the variants that we have in our genome, the mutations, come in 3 flavors. Some variants are very rare. We call them the pathogenic, high impact, because they produce severe genetic disorders. Other variants, they're common, but they're not innocent. They predispose us to the myriad of adult onset disorders, predispose us either positively or negatively. In other words, some of them, they protect us. And we also have another big category that we call neutral. These are fossils of the evolution of us. And the big question in the next 50 years, it will be which variants are predisposing, important, and which variants are neutral. Genetics is, at the end, very serious business. And I'll show you an example of this. Could you please play again? So here's an athlete. He looks healthy, contributing to the game. But all of a sudden, it drops dead. It drops dead because he has a rare genetic disorder that's called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is, in his case, due to 1 letter difference in its DNA. Can you think of this? 66 books like the ones that I showed you, with all the letters, and one of them is different, and that one of them gives this individual and his family this very serious phenotype that we call hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. And this is one of the hundreds and thousands of disorders that we call Mendelian genetic disorders, and the hundreds and thousands of other phenotypes and disorders that we call complex common phenotypes of later age. I'll give you an example of the genetic determinism. The variants can be very deterministic, and everybody that has 1 letter change of this genome will have a disorder. But others, they are less deterministic, like this one in Alzheimer's disease. So let me give you the example of Alzheimer's disease that is one of the best examples of the low genetic determinism of a variant. There's a protein, a gene, that makes a protein. It's called apolipoprotein, ApoE for the short. And this ApoE comes in 3 colors. That protein comes in 3 colors. The blue, the red on the bottom, and the blue-red. And a certain fraction of the population is red. In other words, has the red allele from the father and the red allele from the mother. Homozygous in our lingo. Homozygous for red. In medical terms, homozygous ApoE4, have 12 times more risk of having Alzheimer's disease than the general population. So this is the basic of a predictive medicine based on genetic variability. So in genetics and in the genome, we can now not only diagnose people that have symptoms, as in the left part of the figure, where you see two affected individuals with a different color, but if we study the genome, we can identify more individuals that are at risk for this particular disorder. In genetics, we say that everybody is pre-sick, because everybody will die at some time. So that gives us a certain new view of medicine. The medicine that is based on the genomic variability on one side and the environmental variability on the other side. I'm not an environmental scientist, not an infectious disease person, but the environment is also important, as you can imagine. Or there are disorders due to the interaction between the genomic variability and the environmental variability. And we call this, the right name for this is genomic medicine. Some people call it personalized. I do not like the term because personalized medicine in many places in the world depend on the zip code where someone is born and the amount of his bank account in many countries. Francis Collins, a good friend, when he was the director of the NIH in the United States, had the ear of President Obama at the time, and he said to President Obama, let's not call it personalized medicine anymore, let's call it precision medicine. President Obama liked it. In the next State of the Union address, he said the United States promotes and supports precision medicine. Well, allow me to not to like that term either, because precision medicine we practice. We practice and practiced every day. We tried with the knowledge that we have daily, or 100 years ago, or 200 years ago, or 500 years ago, or where our great-great-great-great-grandfather Hippocrates lived. We tried to do a medicine that is based on the individual also. And Hippocrates said, idiosyncrasies, that's the right Greek word that he used, idiosyncrasia, is very important in the disorders. And we need to treat the disease, especially epilepsy, the sacred disease that he thought at the time, that is tailored to the particular individual. And this genetic variation, the medicine that is based on the genetic variation is good for prediction, as I told you, for diagnosis, of course, prognosis, and treatment, the choice of treatment and the monitoring of treatment. So in the next 5 minutes, and I'll finish, I give you some idea of what is the search to understand how the variability of the genome gives us disorders. When I started in genetics in 1979, 1980, there was one gene known at the time. That was a pre-genome, of course. One gene, the beta-globin gene that causes thalassemia and sickle cell disease. That's the only one that was known. When I look at the database 2 days ago, the number of genes that we know that cause human disorders is 5,289. And we have estimated that we probably miss another 1,000 genes that cause dominant disorders. Dominant disorders need one mutation to give you a disorder in one parental allele. And we miss 7,000 recessive disorders in which one needs a bad gene that's coming from both the father and the mother. So the major search is to identify the recessive conditions that are very numerous. Now, if some of you are very interested in looking at your own DNA and you say to a medical doctor, how much you can say about my genome? How much medically you can say about genome? The answer is very little. How much? 0.43%, that very small slice of the circle that sticks out. Everything else is unknown territory for the majority of us, and your generation of scientists, you are very lucky to study all this and understand, finally, how the human genome contributes to the different disorders. In order to do this, one way to do it is to read the sequences of millions of people, millions, and compare this or associate this with the disorders that us people develop. And so far, we know of about 3.5 million of these sequences. 3.5 million. It is a very small number. We probably need, there are several estimates, but most of the estimates mean 100 million people on Earth and a very good phenotypic determination. We need to know exactly what these people develop with electronic health records and match the two big data collection and biobanks, the one in the phenotype and the one in the genotype. And the most difficult, as you can imagine, is the phenotype. Because the genotype is off the shelf. You go to a laboratory now and very easily determine the DNA sequence in a day of the entire genome. The most difficult thing is to match this with the disorders, because the disorders are difficult to extract from the people, the information, plus the phenotypes are evolving. Today I look healthy, tomorrow I develop a myocardial infarction, my same DNA. If you studied my DNA with my status now, you say you have a normal DNA. When you studied a year later, you say, oh, some of your genes are important for your myocardial infarction. Also, our DNA is a history book. It is a history book because our humanity, when we left Africa, that scheme says 50 to 60,000 years. Put these dates with a grain of salt. Perhaps it is 100,000 to 50,000. It doesn't matter. And then we populated the earth. What people gave to the children was not wealth, but the DNA. And therefore, with the mutations that accumulate over the years, then we can say a lot about our origins, about our predisposition to disorders and so on. I'll skip the short-term research objective of genomic medicine today for the next generations is to identify all functional genomic elements in the genome, to recognize all variants, that means type them, to say what is pathogenic, that's a very important and very difficult question, to identify all high-impact variants, because some variants give you a very severe disorder from the beginning, and other variants you need to wait 50, 60 years to develop a disorder. Devise a rapid and inexpensive ways to edit the genome. Develop computational tools for variant interpretation, to do a risk assessment, public and accessible databases, and data sharing. I repeat the words, in a fair way, and just way, sustainable way, collegial, controlled, and responsible. And most of all, as you will hear from many speakers, including my good friend Professor Gravanis, therapy. How the knowledge of the genome will help us develop intelligent and precision therapies. Then, to finish, I give you a personal satisfaction after more than 40 years in this business. And I give you an example in the gene discovery of a disorder. Some people say, so what if you identify a gene for a disorder? Well, I'll show you an example that I hope it will be put in your mind, that study the genome and understand what is causing a disorder is very important. In order to understand the recessive disorders, you need to study people that practice consanguinity. You know what consanguinity is? First cousin marriage. And why is this? Because us in the West, we don't have big families anymore and we don't practice consanguinity. But the people, the populations that practice consanguinity, they have children with a lot of identity of the genome that the father gives and the mother gives, because they are related. Consanguinity, historically, it was practiced a long time ago. It was practiced because the power needed to be in the same clan or the same big family, or the wealth had to be in the clan and the same family. And people have understood this a long time ago. And here is a very interesting pedigree, the Ptolemy dynasty that was in Egypt from 323 before the Common Era to about 30 before the Common Era. And you see, in generation 3, Ptolemy III married his cousin, Berenice, and then generation 4, Ptolemy IV started something very unusual today, but quite common at the time. He married his sister, Arsinoe II, and had children. Generation 6, Ptolemy VI, married his sister, Cleopatra II. Then an uncle-niece marriage, generation 6 and 7. Ptolemy VIII married Cleopatra III. Next generation, 8, Ptolemy IX married his sister, Cleopatra IV. And then we go down to the Cleopatra of Antonio, Liz Taylor Cleopatra in the movies, who married his brother, Ptolemy XIII. They did not have children, and the dynasty ended there. But if you look at the map of the world today, who practices consanguinity? You see all these countries with colors, and the champion of this is Pakistan. In Pakistan, 7 out of 10 marriages are first cousins, and the population is 220 million people. So this is a very rich humanity that helps to solve the problem of variants in the genome and disorders. So we started a big project, the Swiss-Pakistani project, with collection centers in the cities that you see. I will not go into the details, but from 800 families we have identified 63 new genes for disorders. And that is unprecedented because this does not cost enormously. And in the history of gene discovery, this pace is acceleration of 100 times that was before. But I give you one example it was very important for me. This is a family that lives in the Kohat region of Pakistan. That's a very, very hot area militaristically, about 50 kilometers from the borders of Afghanistan. And there lives a family that you see here with a cousin marriage and 2 affected siblings, a male with square and a female with a circle. And you see the female, Selma, that had progressive retina degeneration, progressive blindness, and cardiomyopathy, 2 distinct phenotypes. The study of the family gave us the gene that causes that disorder. has a Kabbalistic name, SLC6A6. It's not important for you. And the mutation for the aficionados was a simple amino acid substitution, glycine to valine. Right. So then, once we know what is the gene that is important in this particular disorder, we can see what is the protein, what the protein does, what's the pathophysiology, etc. The protein is a transporter. It's a protein that takes a substance from the outside of the cell and puts it inside. And this transporter transports what? It transports taurine. Have you ever heard of taurine? Taurine is a non-essential amino acid that we say. It's an amino acid that we fabricate in our body, but we need a lot of taurine, so what we fabricate is not enough. Every time you have an energy drink, energy drinks have 1 milligram of taurine. So you're all set. You have all your taurine you need for your life. But this family cannot transport taurine in the retina cells and in the heart cells. So I will not talk to you about the mouse. That was very interesting for us because we said, since this is an amino acid substitution, the transporter did not work well, but it worked 10% of the time, a little bit of transport. We said if we give a lot of taurine to this family, to these affected individuals, who may change their lives. So we brought the family in Geneva. There was a big story, how we brought the family in Geneva. I can write a book on this. But here they are, the two parents, father and mother, first cousins, and the two affected individuals, Rifakat and Selma. Rifakat was completely blind because he was 12 years old, 13. But the little girl over there, she had some vision. She could see light, fingers, and perhaps some colors. So we decided to give them taurine. A company in Zurich made pure taurine for us, and we have a permission from the ethics committee by writing that this is not a drug, this is a nutrition supplement. So it did not take 2 years to get a permission, but only 1 month. And 2 years after the taurine, tablets of taurine from mouth, like this. The cardiomyopathy in both of them was cured. I will not give you the indices, that's for the aficionados. But they did not have any cardiomyopathy, so they're not at risk of sudden death like the football player that you've seen before. Now, the eye of the girl. This is an electroretinogram, electric signal from the retina back of the eye of her. You and I have a retinogram like the green one that you see over there. Green is normal, and red is super normal, and white is super normal. The retinogram of the girl was the blue thing that you see on your left. Blue is dead. So all the retina that she had was not functioning, except for the center. The center had a little blip of green. And 2 years after the treatment, the electroretinogram of the left eye and the right eye that you see on the bottom, they were not blue anymore. They were normalish colors. And the ophthalmologist said, several ophthalmologists saw her, she has a vision of 6 out of 20, which is for an individual that does not see, to go to 6 out of 20 is a major event because they are independent, they live their lives, and they can have a job, they can have an education, they can read big letters, etc. So that girl was cured or improved by taking tablets of taurine. Unthinkable. Of course, that's rare, does not come every day. However, it tells you how important it is to know the disorder, know the mechanism of the disorder, and then devise an intelligent treatment based on what is wrong and not based on the symptoms. Of course, the genome could be also important for the drugs that you take today. The lady says, goes to the pharmacist and says, here's my DNA, give me the right medicine, etc. It will come. Now, one small problem before we finish, because nothing is bright on Earth. Sometimes it's gray, sometimes it's black. The genomic medicine has also ethical, social, legal, and financial issues. I listed them here. And I'll tell you two things: the genetic discrimination and the tyranny of knowledge. The tyranny of knowledge was elaborated and described by Sophocles, from all people. Sophocles lived from 496 to 406 BC, and he wrote this tragedy, Oedipus Rex. And in the third scene, he realizes that something is wrong with his family and his kingdom, Thebes. And then he calls the blind seer, Tiresias, say the geneticist, and he says, what's wrong with me and my town, my city? And Tiresias says, in very good Greek, Phef, phronin os dinon en thamiteli li phronundi. In other words, what do you need to know if you cannot do anything about this? In our lingo, in genetics, we call this the Tiresias complex, because diagnosis runs much faster than treatment. So we can say many things about people, but if there's no treatment, or if there's no change in lives, 50% of the people say, I don't want to know. And 50% say, I want to know, like the US elections. There are two sides equally important. And the last one is the discrimination. The reading of the genome unites people, and at the same time, it separates people. I'll give you an example from the recent history. This Dr. Robert Ritter, a very good clinician at the time, he got money from the German Association for Scientific Research to study Roma. And then in the report that he did to the funding agency, 31st of January 1941, he said, I identified, with the money that you gave me, 23,822 Roma cases that have been conclusively clarified. And you see Dr. Ritter there, examining one of his cases, subjects, and the bottom is helper, Dr. Eva Justin, does the anthropometrics in that patient, in that individual. And then we read in the minutes of the trials in Nuremberg, of the 20,943 Roma, gypsies, registered in Auschwitz. You see how close the number is, 20,900 to 23,800 that they registered in Auschwitz. 3,461 were transferred to other camps. You see them sitting there. They transferred to other camps because they consented to a sterilization. The rest of them died by starvation, by disease, or gas. Take-home message: proceed with caution. We need to become more intelligent, more knowledgeable of the bad history of the past, and do not make the same mistakes that we humans made before. And with this, I thank you very much, and I will say, like Antonio in Shakespeare, Tempest, what is past is a prologue. Thank you.